Hi everyone, Zarian here. Today I wanted to talk to you about Fedora Atomic or Immutable distributions. It's a subject that I think not a lot of people understand, even though they think they do. You'll go on Reddit or whatever, and people every so often will say, well, I heard that Silverblue is unbreakable. And then you'll get people who will respond with, well, I'm a power user. I find immutable distros restrictive, as I can't tinker with them. The reality is that immutable distros just have a different workflow. I will grant that with immutable workflows, a lot of the documentation that you find about Linux will not work, and you have to go and find specific documentation for that. The bulk of such documentation is provided by Silverblue. These guys specialize in taking a Fedora Atomic image like Silverblue and then building on top of it. If you're a gamer like me, you might have heard of BlueBuild, which is their gaming distribution. Anyway, when you try to install applications on something like Silverblue, you'll notice you can't do it the traditional way. That's due to the fact that immutable distributions are supposed to be bulletproof. You know, you're not supposed to be able to install a package that modifies your system. All the packages that you can install will be inside a container such as a Flatpak or DistroBox so that they don't end up changing your system. And that makes it so that it's less likely that you're going to have a dependency problem that then breaks your entire system. But you can actually install things. Let's say you prefer to install the native version of Steam. You know, actually, native is a misnomer. Let's define it. So the native version of Steam is the version that your distro packages. If you're using Fedora, you will install the native version of Steam by using the command sudo dnf install steam. Why do I say it's a misnomer? It's because the only officially supported version of Steam is the one that Debian provides. Nothing else on any other distro is truly native because it's being repackaged from the Debian package. We'll use native to mean you use your distribution package manager to install it. Anyway, let's say you don't want to install the Flatpak version of Steam, mostly because you play in VR, and unfortunately, that doesn't play nice with the Flatpak. And for whatever reason, you don't want to use BlueBuild, which has Steam native. Maybe BlueBuild has things you are not interested in, and you don't want anything on your system that you don't need. So by creating your own custom version of a Fedora Atomic or Immutable image, you can just install Steam and nothing else. Silverblue has a couple of templates from GitHub that allow you to customize their images. But what I'm going to talk to you about today is BlueBuild, because it makes custom images much easier to create. It's a good starting point if you're not very used to GitHub. And then, as you get used to BlueBuild, you might move on to the Silverblue template, or you may just stay with BlueBuild. But at least it gets you used to GitHub, which can be scary at the beginning. Let's get going. This is the home page, and in true Linux style, if you click Let's Get Started, you don't actually get taken to the page where you can create your distro, you get taken to the documentation. While I understand the rationale for this, if it were me, I would have linked it to the image builder, and I would have had another button for the documentation next to it. Instead, you need to go to workshop.bluebuild.org, and that's where you can start making your custom image. Before you start though, you do need to have a GitHub account. They are free, so go ahead and make one and then come back here and sign into GitHub before we carry on. Right, so I've logged into GitHub, and the next thing we're going to do is create a new image repository. We give it a name. I'm going to be very original. I'm going to call this Penguin OS. So now this is creating a repo on GitHub, which is where you're going to store your new image. This particular step allows you to sign your images, which means you're giving the operating system a way to verify that this is coming from you and it hasn't been tampered with. I'm just going to say, yes, set it up automatically. And you got your new repo. Here is mine, right here. We want to look at this yellow marker here. That means that GitHub is currently building my image. So we let it do its thing and we let it build. Next, we're going to connect the PC to GitHub via key so that when you download your repo to your PC, you can then connect to GitHub to push your changes. We're going to install a very simple Flatpak called Keymaker. Open your Discover or GNOME store. I use Bazaar because I'm on Cache and it doesn't come with Discover. Let's search for Keymaker and install it. Then you need to go and make a folder because Keymaker won't make it on its own. Go to your home folder. Make sure you can see your hidden folders and create this .ssh folder. In order for you to see the hidden folders, you can just press Ctrl-H. Then you open Keymaker and then you click here and you make a new key. Create your key. Give it a comment. Usually I put the name of the distro I'm on, so I know which computer I have logged in from. And then choose Don't Protect with Passphrase, and then click Generate. Because I already have a key, I'm not going to redo this step. Next, go to Copy Public Key, and then you go to your GitHub and go to your Settings. And then you go to your SSH and GPG keys. I already have one key here, but you'd click on New SSH Key and paste the key here. And then you give it a title. Just give it something that reminds you what the key is. So for example, I've called mine CacheOS so that I know that this key is for this PC. Let's go back to our repo. Let's see if Penguin OS built. Nope, still building, so I'll let this run and I'll come back later. Okay, so we are back. You can see that it says 1 job completed. This means that this image has now successfully built. And that's it. This is your image ready to be customized. You will be editing your recipe here by adding the packages that you want. So what does this file contain? Here it has the name, it's got your description that you can change, it tells you what image this is based on. So this is currently based on Silverblue, and it's based on the universal blue version of Silverblue, where they included extra things such as proprietary codecs. And you can see that this is based on Fedora 42, and we are on 44 now, so we need to change that to 44. Let's go down. They decided to install some packages like Starship, Micro. They are uninstalling the native version of Firefox. And they are installing its Flatpak counterpart. Now, if you prefer that, you can leave it. But if you want to just have the version of Firefox that ships with Fedora, you can delete it. By the way, when you edit YAML files, make sure you maintain the indentation as you see it here. And always use spaces to indent. If you use tab, the code will throw up an error at you. We can go about customizing this a couple of ways. The best way to go about this is to download the code in this repo and then you change it on your machine. So that when you then are happy with all the changes, you push them to your repo, and then this automated action that built our image here will build it again with your changes. You can also make the changes directly into GitHub here, and I'll show you how to do that first. But bear in mind that every time you do it this way, then your action here will fire off. So you'll end up building your image many times if you're changing several files. You can turn it off to avoid this. So if you just want to do this here, and you don't want to deal with the SSH key that I showed you earlier, and then the other things that I'm going to show you later on the terminal, you can just do it all here. Just remember that this particular workflow here, which is responsible for rebuilding your image, has to be turned off. Here you disable the workflow. Now you can change multiple files without worrying about GitHub trying to rebuild your image for each and every file you amend. Next, we're going to the recipes folder and we open the recipe.yml. It's literally just writing a list of things that you want to install. We'll leave the name as it is, then we said that we need to change 42 to 44, so we'll do that. I'm not really interested in Starship, so I'm going to delete the package and its repo. We'll change this to Steam. Actually, just for the sake of allowing this to build faster, I'm going to keep the version of Firefox that comes with Fedora just to speed this up for the purpose of this video. So now I'm happy. I have Steam, which is all I wanted in my custom Silverblue image. I'll click on Commit Changes. Copilot generates a commit message which will be a record of which changes you've made. This is kind of fine. We'll just change it to and add Steam. We can give more details, deleted Starship, Micro, and kept the native version of Firefox. Right, so if we go back to our overview of the repo, you'll see that change image to version 44 and add Steam is there. Next, we need to go and re-enable the workflow, and now we can tell GitHub to run it. All right, so now GitHub is going to build this and we can just leave it there. Right, my custom image build is finished. As you can see here, it took just about 4 minutes, or a bit less than that. So now we need to get this image onto my machine. How do we replace Fedora Silverblue with this version that I've now customized? We just click this command and we go to our Fedora installation and we just paste it in our terminal. And now it's looking at the GitHub link of my new repo with my custom image, and it's pulling that image into my system, and it will then replace the current stock Fedora with my version. We'll let it do this, and then I'll come back to you when we're done. Okay, the download is finished. You can see all of the packages that were added. And look at what we see here, Steam. So now that we are done, we can reboot our system. Click on Restart and Install. And we just wait for the reboot. Actually, instead of waiting, let's go back to our GitHub. We need to rebase again as it's a two-step process. We just rebase to the unsigned version of the image, meaning that there is no way for people to verify that what they are downloading is coming from me. With the first rebase, we just made sure that everything installed correctly, and now we can rebase to the signed version. Fedora should have rebooted by now. Yep, here it is. First of all, let's check whether Steam was installed. There it is. So now that we're happy with that, we're going to copy and paste the second command from GitHub. So we're going to rebase another time, this time to the signed image. This time will be quicker, and no, you're not going to need to do it again. And this is now rebased into the signed version of the image. So if somebody else were to use this image, they could verify that this has come from me and not from some other person who is trying to hack the way into my OS. After rebooting, we are back into our fully signed image, and from now on, you don't have to rebase again. You're good to go. And you got your Steam installed. And if you're using VR and you really need that Steam VR working and the Flatpak doesn't do it for you, this is how you do it. Now you'll notice that aside from copying these commands, I did not touch the terminal. I've done all of this via a web page directly on GitHub. But there are some drawbacks to doing it that way. For example, when we look at this build, it just says BlueBuild. You are not being told why it ran. Whereas if you were to make your changes from your Fedora machine, you would then push them back out to GitHub with a commit message. And then, when this action runs automatically, it will also attach the commit itself, so you know why it rebuilt. And just to remind you of what a commit message is, this is the one where we said change image version to 44 and add Steam. Another issue is that if you turn off the workflow to make changes, you need to remember to turn it back on, because BlueBuild runs this for you daily automatically. So if there are any updates from Fedora, they will be passed on to you. Lastly, if you are working with other people on this image, turning off the workflow will prevent their changes from triggering a new build. To resolve this, we're going to check how to do this via terminal, or a text editor like Kate, which means you don't have to touch the GitHub workflow at all, because you can batch several changes at once. So, let's do the way the pros do it. I download GitHub repos in the projects folder. We go here and copy this URL. Make sure Git is installed on your system so you can clone the repository locally. So inside the folder here, we right-click and open terminal. We type git clone and the GitHub link that we just copied. And now Fedora will download it. This new folder now has exactly the same files that are in GitHub. Some of them are hidden, but you can unhide them if you need to. If we open our recipe folder, you can see the same file that we edited here online. I'll just open it and voila, exactly the same code we saw before. So let's say that now I want to add Goverlay and MangoHud so that I can see the FPS of my games, the temperature of my CPU, and other things. Just so you're aware, for Fedora, MangoHud is actually dependency of Goverlay. So technically, you don't need to list MangoHud, but just in case that changes, we'll just put it in the list there. Now we save this. As I said, I am using Kate, which is the default text editor from KDE. You can see that here it shows that I made changes to 2 lines of code. So now we double-click on it to stage them. This now tells Kate, I want to push these 2 changes to GitHub. And then commit and write. Added Goverlay and MangoHud. Click on Commit. And then next thing you need to do is push them to GitHub. You don't have to commit and push right away. You could make changes to other files and then push all changes at once. Your build workflow on GitHub will collate all your changes and rebuild your image once. Okay, so let's push. And we're back here. And check this out. Added Goverlay and MangoHud right there. And the action is now automatically running with the commit message. We'll come back once it's done. It turns out I lied. I had told you I was going to show you how to do in the terminal, but all we did in terminal was just to clone the Git repo there. Okay, we're back. Look at this. This is now built. This took a little longer than the previous one. This is something to keep in mind because you don't want to be installing the entire world in your base image. If you can, use Flatpaks for things that you don't strictly need to use natively. But here you go. You've got Goverlay and MangoHud, so now we need to pull this back onto our Fedora. Here we are. We're just going to type rpm-ostree update. And it's going to look at GitHub and go, oh look, there are some updates, and it's just going to go through all of them and download them. Okay, you can see here that it updated a few things. It installed MangoHud and Goverlay. It also installed vk-basalt because it is a Goverlay dependency. Yeah, so you're going to need to reboot when you make these changes, but it's only at the beginning when you are first setting up, and then you don't have to worry about it. You can then just use your Flatpaks for everything else, and you don't need to reboot when installing those. Here is Goverlay. So it updated with Goverlay and it works just fine. So if I click it, it's now going to go through the setup. And there it is. Shows my CPU, my RAM, and you can customize it. So we only needed to use the terminal for a couple of things. We've used it a little bit at the beginning when we needed to rebase our Silverblue into our new installation. We used it to clone the repository locally, but otherwise we just use Kate, which is the default text editor that comes with KDE. And GNOME will have its own editor. But yeah, this is how you do it. This is how you get your BlueBuild up and running. Now, if a normie self-proclaimed power user ever says to you that you cannot make changes to an immutable distro, you just point them to BlueBuild, and where you can, use Flatpaks and DistroBox. This is a very deep rabbit hole though. I showed you the basics on how to set this up, and if you're just adding packages, this is enough. I do urge you to look at the documentation if you want to do fancier things. Everything is pretty well explained. I am not a developer, and I can follow these docs. You can just go and read, for example, how do I install packages? And this is how you do it. How do I add a repo? They show you how to do it here. It's all here, very clearly explained. But if you would like a video tutorial to go more into depth, let me know in the comments. I hope this has been helpful. This is Zarian, and I'll see you at the next one.